Welcome to Robotics. Today the topic of our discussion is how to add an extra center channel to your present audio video receiver, to your sound system at home. And then we're going to sit here and figure out the best way to do it and the way that's going to work the best. So the first thing first, we got to know how to use the ohm meter to measure the speaker's ohmage, because that's very necessary. The reason we wanted to add center channel, extra center channel speakers probably to the back of the room versus the center channel that has already one in the front of the room, because sometimes when you're watching, for instance, YouTube videos, or when you're watching video for something else, or maybe you're watching the news, the only sound that you hear, and if they're like a only voice coming out of it, you're gonna hear only the sound coming to front center speakers, and it kind of hollow and is not complete. And what do you want to do? You don't like to put it on the 7-channel format, because the sound will come from every speakers, and when you put on a 7-channel stereo format on your audio video receiver, it doesn't sound the same because it doesn't separate the sound when you play the movies. So, but you feel like you need an extra center channel somewhere, so you need the voice to be surrounded, but the special effect would be coming either from a front back speaker, high front speaker, high back speaker, or whatnot. That's the main reason of doing it, and it will sound a lot better because I had only front center channel, and he did this, and he added the back speakers to it, and it worked a lot better, because due to the fact that the surround channels are designed to work in the best manner. And then we have to make sure that the system is compatible. So when you're adding the extra center channel, we want to make sure that according to the factory specs, and we're not making something out of ordinary that is not supposed to be done. So by adding extra center channel speaker to the back of the room, you're going to realize your surround sound system sounds a lot better than before. It never sounded like that before. So, and then still the surround sound will function with whatever segment you have, action, game, or whatever, Dolby or whatever system you're using. Basically on that, it will work the best. So let's get to the technical part of it and see how you can add the extra center channel to your present system. First thing first, we have to know how to use the voltmeter, or in this format, ohm meter, to measure the impedance of the speakers. I brought this a small speaker. Of course, the center channel of the speakers are bigger than this, maybe quite bigger than this. You see there's a red connector and there's a black connector right here on the back, as you can see it. So this is what we're going to be connecting the ohm meter to. You can purchase an ohm meter. It doesn't have to be as elaborate as this. You can buy one for around $5. They call it voltmeter or ohm meter. They're everywhere. Every hardware store has one. But you're going to need this to do it properly. So what we're doing here, we get the speaker here, and then we have the ohm meter here, because I want to explain to you how it's connected, and then we're going to go from there. So what we do, we put it on the 200 ohm, the setting, the dial, it goes on the 200 ohm, turn it on, test it here, make sure it is close to 0, which is this right there. And then what you do, connect the black to the black speaker out on your present sound system. Note that the wires that are attached to your surround sound speakers right now, to the center channel speakers, have to be taken out one of the wires at least, so you can be able to do the measurement. If the wires are connected to the surround sound, you won't be able to to the center channel, you won't be able to do the measurement on the center channel. So you remove the present wires on it, one of the wires, and then you connect the black to black, red to red, and you should get a reading. You see the reading is 10.6 right now in here. So we have a 10.6 reading on these speakers. But normally the speakers, the readings for the center channel is about between 4 ohm, 3 ohms, 6 ohms. If you have Samsung, they're about 3 ohms. If you have Yamaha and all, they're about 4 ohms. They vary. So normally they're between 3 to 8 ohms. And then once you measure it, you write the measurement down, and then we go to the next phase. You try to go with the same impedance on a speaker that you're going to install in the back, the extra center channel. Try to do that. So if you get second pair of speaker to install in the back of the room as a center channel, you need to measure that the same way as you measure the center channel that are already in the front. So you measure the impedance, the ohm, on the front speakers for the center channel, and you measure the one that you're going to be connecting. Assuming that we have here two speakers, the front center channel 8 ohms and the back center channel 8 ohms, we have total of 16 ohms. 8 plus 8 equals 16 ohms. This is where they connected in series. I'm going to explain to you why we have to decide that. If your system is reading, if your manufacturer suggests that the speakers should be in 4 ohms, then I'll show you how to do it. This is in 16 ohms when they connect in series. But if manufacturer suggests to be 8 ohms and your speakers are 4 ohms each, would be 4 plus 4 equal 8. That would be perfect. So you install one in the back and there's one already in the front as the center channel. This is the schematic thing for it. The speaker, the same as sort of in series connected like 2 resistors. And the back of the speakers, as you see here, there is a red and there is a black, red and black connector. Okay, the red connector of one speakers go to the black connector of the other speakers. The black connector on one speakers go to your back of your receiver, which has a center channel out, and the red goes to the red of the receiver. So we connect one speaker red to black, from front speaker to the rear speaker, they're both going to be center channel, and one red to the front goes to the red output of the receiver for center channel, and black goes to black output of the receiver on the center channel output. So we have only 2 wires coming from the center channel of your receiver. 2 wires going, one black and red coming here. The red one connects to the speaker 1. Let me just mark it here for you so you clearly get it. The red one goes to speaker 1, and the black one goes to speaker 2. Then you're gonna have 2 connector lefts on a speaker, one red here and one black, so you connect them together. They have nothing to do with the receiver. Receiver already got the 2 wires from it. So keep this in mind, this is connection in series. So let's say you had 2 4 ohms speakers, and your manufacturer suggests that you need 8 ohms in total to run the system. That would be perfect to run it in series. Let's say you have 2 3 ohms speakers. After you did the measurement for each speakers, manufacturer suggests between 4 to 8, you're there. You don't need to go to the next sessions to be explained for what connections on a parallel would be on the speakers. So what we have, if we have these numbers, if you have the speakers of 4 ohm each, you'll be perfect. You connect it this way. If you have a speaker 3 ohm each, you connect it that way. But if your output, if your speakers are connected in series, they're 8 ohm each and it's 16 ohm, that would be way too much resistance there. So what we're going to show you how to make that lower as connecting it in parallel. So this is the connection in series. Now we're going to go ahead and erase this and show you how to connect it in parallel, which would be not very difficult to do. Okay, we erase this part, so we write parallel here. So as you saw in series, the sum of a speaker 1 adds to the sum of a speaker 2, that would be your total resistance. So, and okay, erase this one, erase this one, and erase this one. Erase this part, because this was connection in series. This is connecting the speaker 1 and the speaker 2 in parallel. So the things are looking a little different. So in parallel, the red goes to red, the black goes to black. So let's change here the format on this as well. Okay, let's do this. We erase this part that comes from here. Right, red and black. All right, let's do this. So we connect in parallel. We're going to connect red to red. Then what we're going to do, we're going to connect black to black. The reason we do this because the wires are not crossing here. So there's two separate wires and they're not touching each other. That's how we show it in the schematic drawings on any. So let me just clear this for you so you know what I exactly mean here. So this wire is going over the other wire, is not touching it. So we have this here. So red connects to red, black connects to black. The speaker that is on the front is closer to your receiver probably, if receiver is mounted in front, set up in front. So you connect red to red here to the receiver, and you connect black to black in the receiver. So what we did here, we have two wires coming out of the center channel output from your audio video receiver. So black one connects to the black on the front speaker, connect to the black on the back speaker. Red one connects to the red on the front speaker, and red to the back speaker. So let's get the formula here. As you remember, as you recall, the sum of the resistance and impedance on a speakers on a series, all you do, you add it. Okay? But it's different when you connect them in parallel. When you connect them in parallel, it becomes half. So instead of 8 plus 8 being 16, this is kind of weird, 8.8 becomes 4. Instead of 4.4 plus 4 becomes 8, 4 plus 4 becomes 2. So it becomes half of the value of the speaker. 3.3, 3 plus 3 becomes 6, it becomes 1.5. Okay? What you can do if you want to, just to make sure, but you don't need to. The formula works pretty well. You can connect the speaker black to black, red to red, separate them from a output of the receiver, so don't connect the receiver wires to them, and then measure it on either one, or this one. You should be reading, if you have two 8 ohm speaker in parallel, you should be reading 4 plus. If there are two 4 ohms, should be reading 2 3 ohms should be 1.5. The 1.5 ain't gonna work if you have two 3 ohm speakers. You might want to get the two 4 ohms to make it work, because I don't think there's any manufacturer that has an output to go that low. You might have some high-end Denon or high-end Yamaha that might go up to probably 4 in that range to be pushing it. So in here, if you have two 4 ohm speakers, you'd be looking at 2 in there, but you might have the center channel, you might have a few of the tweeters, and there's tweeter and woofer. If they're connected in series in general, then you have a higher ohmage, then you might get an optimum result here. Probably you can go up to 2 in there if you connect 2 4 ohm together, and still be safe of using your surround sound system. I recommend mostly this one on top, and if you have one speaker that's 4 ohm and the other speaker is 6 ohm, then 10, then you'd be getting the sum of the two divided by 2. It won't work that. It would be like one would be 2, the other would be 2.5. It would come up as if his one is 6, it would be 3. If his one is 4, it would be 2. So 5, it would be 2.5, the variation here. As I explained to you, the formula works a little different. So on series, when you were looking at here on series, you had the formula on series is A plus B equal A plus B, the resistance equal the total number would be A, exactly A plus B. All right, A plus B in parallel would be equaling that half the amount of 2. Which equates to, for example, if there are 4 each, this would become 2. So if it's 4 each, this would becomes 8. So A plus B will become the sum of half of A value, or half of